It's my immense delight to invite the speaker of the keynote session, Professor Dr. Ashwini Sharma. Professor Ashwini earned his first degree in mechanical engineering from University of Pune and MTech from Punjab Technical University. He did his doctorate from Department of Mechanical Engineering from National Institute of Technology, Kurukshetra. He started his teaching career as a lecturer in mechanical engineering in 1999. He worked with many institutions in different capacities such as assistant professor, associate professor, head of the department, and became Dean of School of Engineering and Center of Excellence at Kaziranga University in 2017. His contribution includes projects, consultancies, patents, project-based learning, innovation, and team leading. He has rich experience of 20 years in engineering education. His main research areas are supply chain, quality, product recall, social innovation, and industrial engineering. He has received several awards and accolades including Best Teacher and Gwalior Gaurav and won National Design Contest by 3D PLM Software in Professor category. He has been involved with professional project evaluation at MSME Ministry and had several student project grants in India. He has publications in international journals and conferences of repute. He has delivered several keynote speeches and invited talks in international conferences, seminars, and institutions. He has been associated with Baja SAE India, Supra SAE India, FE Cycle as faculty advisor, judge in ESVC, HVC, Go-Kart Championship by ISIE India, design consultant for DCS MSME, and is a master trainer of ZEDZ. He pioneered introducing the project-based learning for the students of engineering and faculty and developed innovative teaching and learning aids. Having such a great personality to be the next keynote speaker is really a big boon for GWEST 2020. At this moment, we welcome Professor Ashwini Sharma to share his presentation along with us. Thank you.
Hello everyone, how are you? Obviously, you are not as good what you used to be when it was a face-to-face meeting, right? Anyways, we are grabbing this opportunity to be connected with you. I welcome you all, the participants and the organizers, to this global webinar on engineering, science and technology, taking the theme as post-COVID challenges. So if we start thinking about these challenges, actually we don't have to think. Why? Because we have already gone through with that. Now, in last 2 to 3 months, we are facing all these issues. The only thing is, I'm going to give words to it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to present my topic on effect of COVID-19 on supply chain. Any of the supply chain, but if you remember the speech by the Prime Minister, that he has mentioned many times about the supply chain. So many of you might not be knowing what supply chain is and what is the role of it in our day-to-day life. In between, I will take this opportunity quickly to let the organizers understand that I am thankful to them for giving me this opportunity to talk on this forum. So ladies and gentlemen, my topic is going to have this content. So we will talk about the supply chain, then we'll see what has happened in last 2 to 3 months, because it is an altogether new situation which we have encountered. And then what is the solution of it? Is there any solution? If it is, then is that solution sustainable? And are we ready for that? So these are the presentation contents. So before that, let us basically understand what supply chain is. So in words, if we talk about, it is entire system of producing and delivering a product or service. So that means it deals with product as well as service. So that means every product or service somehow must be associated with one, two, three, or number of supply chains. And these supply chains are very important. You can say it is blood in the veins. If the supply chain is not there, you cannot make your product. So in easy way to understand, just look or just think of your kitchen. Everybody is ready? Yeah, I'm talking about your own kitchen. So if you see in your kitchen, there are a number of items which are there, and the lady of the house, when she is going to cook, she takes some part of those items and then cooks you the delicious food. I'm talking about the best manager in the world. That is the lady in the kitchen. So she can be considered the supply chain manager. And what she uses the raw material and she processes it, and then finally she gives you the finished product, which is, I know, it's delicious, right? So with that, we have got some understanding of supply chain associating with raw material, then the supplier, then the manufacturer, distributor, retailer, and consumer. So in graphical form, if we see that, it's like the raw material is the main part for the supply chain. It is the basic entity which supply chain deals with. So let's say if you are having the mango shake at your home, basically raw material for that is the mango, and mango happens to be grown in the farms. So it's there on the tree. So somebody has to pluck the mango from the tree, and then it has to be supplied to the vegetable market or fruit market. And from there, somebody from your house is going to fetch that, giving money, and then finally it comes to the home. But it is not finished because you wanted to have the mango shake. So mango shake happens to be after processing the mango. Yes, and it happens to be good, right? So that is what is the raw material. So raw material, when it is going through the supplier, manufacturer, and then the distributor, retailer, and finally to you, it completes one cycle. And then as per the demand, again this cycle continues. So consider the different supply chains, which I can name it as, let's say, food supply chain, or it may be automotive supply chain, or maybe healthcare supply chain. There are n number of supply chains. Basically, if you see the products, a supply chain is associated with that. Without the supply chain, the product cannot be made. So what has gone wrong? Why we are talking about this supply chain? Why this word has taken so much buzz in the market today? The answer lies here. So something has gone in last 2 or 3 months. Supply disruption. This supply disruption happened because over 90% of the Fortune 1000 companies have tier 2 suppliers in the region of China, and that is most affected in the initial phase of global COVID-19 pandemic. I'm talking about initial phase because later phase I will talk about. Fortune 1000 companies, they are relying on 90% of their resources to China. That means one single country. My God, that means there is some problem at the raw material level. And what that problem is that China is supplying 90% of the raw material to the world. And that has resulted into sourcing, which generally we do. We buy the product based on the cheapest price, or sometimes the supply chains which are there are working on the cheapest pricing. This cheapest pricing has put us in trouble because China could produce the raw material or the goods in a cheaper way. That means they can offer the same value with least price. But with this cheapest pricing, beating all the competitors doesn't guarantee the profits in long term, considering that material flows freely. We used to consider that this material or the commodity flows freely. That was the assumptions while making out or while designing the supply chains. But nowadays, this is no more a theory. It's going to be changed. Why? Because somebody cannot catch hold of the commodity, and this commodity is, because of some issues, this commodity is not in the reach of the public. Now, based on the cheaper price, are we really fetching the benefit? Are we really benefited? I'm sorry to say that whatever profit these companies have earned in last 10 years, sometimes 20 years, I'm sorry to say it all has gone into this pandemic. Why? Because the production is not there. There are many ways which the companies have to pay for the employees as well as for the government, and without any earning. So globally, these companies are paying very heavily. And that's where the problem has occurred. The startups already gone, the failure of startups, no funding, this kind of problem. I'm not demoralizing anybody. I'm just giving you the hint of what has gone wrong in last 2 to 3 months. So let us move further. So who is affected? Means what kind of people are affected out of this disruption? Let's see that. Oh my God. So here comes, it is type of industry, what I have listed here. It's food industry, automotive, fast moving consumer goods, agriculture, tourism, e-commerce. E-commerce has gone in a big way, that we will be discussing. It's not gone down, it's gone up in terms of supplying the material, supplying the commodities to the people. Transport, health and hospitals, they are highly affected. Humanitarian logistics, that has gone wrong somewhere. Education, which we are related to. And there are many more industries which we should not take here because the time will be a limit. So if we consider here who is affected, it's not you and me who are affected, it's entire world which has got affected. I'm just listing out these companies here, but there are more than these companies which are in trouble or which has faced this kind of situation for first time. What they are saying, that the Indian economy is expected to lose over 32,000 crore every day during the first 21 days of complete lockdown, which was declared following the coronavirus outbreak. So you can remember that we had 21 days lockdown. So it is just a projection which has been given by some experts to the extent of 32,000 crore rupees per year. Remember, I told you that the profit has gone from last 10 or 20 years, what you have earned, it is going just in a drain. So with this background, we can think of number of options, number of opportunities which can be available or which can be created so that the solution happens to be good for everybody. So let us see one by one. My God, the solution here in simple word, it is something which is close to my heart. It's called innovation. So innovation in every sector has to be there so that we can fight with this kind of calamity which has occurred. And I think number of people across the globe, they have already started doing that. So this trigger, see, when we are getting some kind of difficulty, we start improvising on that, and we start innovating in that kind of situation. That is what happening. So you are seeing all kind of innovations happening all around within no time. It is so quick that every day there can be more than 100 innovations coming out into the market because of this kind of difficulty. So in the difficult situation, I say that it is the opportunity to be grabbed. Now, can we have a solution in which every supply chain which has been affected in this era of pandemic is not affected or least affected? Can we redesign those supply chains, considering there can be a pandemic type of situation in which the supply chain has to be resilient as well as responsive? So there is a solution, clear-cut solution, but this solution will take some time to digest. And there is some time which is needed for innovation also. So if you see, the innovations in supply chain relates to physical and digital world. Physical world, it is for generally delivery and manufacturing. So it may be drone, wearable technology, driverless vehicles, robotics, 3D printing, which I think almost all of us are well aware of. On the other side of it, it is digital innovation, which has already happened in terms of IoT, big data, cognitive analysis of the consumers, cloud, supply chain digitization, in order to have the supply chain in such a way that the parts or the products are traceable from end to end, starting from the manufacturer or to the supplier to the consumer, so that within no time it can be called back if something goes wrong. And supply chain digitization has helped the companies in a big way. So coming again back to the innovation, uh, we can see there are innovations like driverless vehicles for delivery. These are self-driving trucks or cars or robots. So this is one kind of driverless vehicle in which delivery is being made. And if we want to see it in running, then let's start with that. So just a second. Yes. This company is called as Neuro, and they have created this kind of driverless system in which it is called as contactless delivery. And it is being used nowadays for last mile delivery. So it is a fully automatic kind of vehicle. Okay, so there are so many innovations which are available. I'm just focusing on supply chain, but there may be one or two examples which I found that they are very interesting to know. Now, drones are being used for airdropping. So everybody knows now about the drones. They are being used for so many applications. That means you can imagine the applications of drones now are endless. In this kind of situation, drones has proved to be successful. And one of this example is in Ghana, where the drone is being used for delivery to take the COVID-19 test samples to labs in the hospital. So they are also supplying the PPE kits with the help of these drones. It's a faster method to collect the samples and so so uh, if you see it here, it's basically opportunity for these 5 businesses which are being run by the females. Who could have imagined that this kind of business can come out in this kind of time where we cannot think of any other thing than the fear? So this is happening in Ghana. Efficient use of drone technology to collect the sample and deliver. Another thing which is interesting to know, that a Finnish sports watch manufacturer has developed an application which is which is taking the help of heat maps to show the routes less traveled. That means the route which is less traveled has got some kind of hint that this route might be less contaminated with the virus. So if that kind of map is available in our hand, then finally we can decide on to the least affected route, and we can be safe. Next one is Centro Manufacturing Corporation. Uh, it is developing anti-COVID dividers for modern PUVs, that is public utility vehicles, and it's in Philippines. These people are doing it. So they're making the boundaries amongst people, so that the people are having contactless journey, and they can be aware that this kind of situation, where what they are into, it is because of protecting them from the viruses. And they are also saying that we can retrofit the kind of kits what they have produced to barricade the people, to isolate the people in the same bus or public utility vehicle in such a way that they are not coming in contact and they are safe to do that journey. Next, I am talking about the Lifeline Robotics, which is automated method of collecting the swab. So let us see that first. Okay, so this is a robot which is taking the sample of swab. So this kind of automated process has uh, different advantages. Like first, there won't be a fear in the mind of people that they will be coming in contact with the other human being. So this is an isolated robot which can collect that sample. The kind of collection will be efficient enough, and it will be repeated 1,000 times, 2,000 times with the same accuracy. So this kind of thing can basically help the hospitals, especially the labs, where the labs are dealing with the swab samples. Next in line is, I know most of you might have heard of it. It is the lift, in which instead of pushing the buttons by hand, the lift company has started with the manufacturing of lifts where you can push those same buttons with the help of foot. So if you see it here, let's okay. So if you can remember, in the last international conference at BITS, we have shown one design change in toilet flush, which was done with me and with my students. This was a funded project where we thought of pushing the flush pedal with the help of, not with the help of hand and with the help of foot. So that system, we did not know that in 2013 that this kind of situation will arise, where today that product which we designed so long back will be used today. So that's the another innovation. Coming on to innovation, which is funny, but this is not limiting factor. This innovation shows that there can't be any limit for the human existence, as well as the businesses which are running in today's arena. So in this, Jonas brother, they have started working out on some video, which is, you can see it later. It's a virtual thing wherein they have produced this music video for their single X, which came out the last week. So let us listen to this. So obviously these three people are not together, and they have put it up. They have put it up in such a seamless way that you cannot recognize that this kind of video can be made when the people are. Okay, so I deliberately put this video of innovation in the middle of my presentation because I did not want you people to sleep. So I hope that you people have enjoyed this video through conferencing app Zoom, which is being used now where I am talking. Next beautiful innovation which has come out is the robot dog, which is being used nowadays for social distancing, educating the people for social distancing. So that's about this robot dog, which is called Spot. And it is giving the instructions to the people there, seeing their location, position, and if it finds out that there is less distance between the two people, that robot is warning about social distancing. So it also says thank you to you, and it's also saying for your own safety. And the distance it talks about is 1 meter always. So if you see the people, they are roaming around it. Some of them are taking the video of it because they are finding it funny as well as amusing. But obviously the people who are from engineering side who are listening to me, they will be enjoying that, because this is something which they always wanted to work, but maybe because of some, we want to do that, but funding happens to be a little issue. So it's fully equipped with the robotic vision system and different technologies, and it is they are saying that it is also connected to cloud. So the same robot is can be used for the different purposes. So what I was talking about is that if it can talk about social distancing, why can't it be used for the last mile delivery or to help the people in different situations? So let us see what this robot can do. And this robot is basically done by the Boston Dynamics USA. So I found this video to be interesting enough. So what they are saying, that it is a modular construction. The capabilities are being shown. It can take up a payload of 14 kg. It can survive in any kind of environment. And they are testing it to all kind of severe punishments and hazardous situations. So all kind of testing has been done, and now it is being sent to the market. Okay, this is something which I was doing from last maybe 7 to 8 years, when we bought our first 3D printing machine. In this situation, 3D printing has created a lot of opportunities for the people. There are so many startups which are already there. There are so many companies which are working on the 3D printing technology, where ready to use products can be made locally. And with little knowledge of design and manufacturing, you can do that. So let us just see how this 3D printing works out. So they have taken the example of healthcare system. So maybe I know that many of you might be having the small 3D printer at your home, and you can design your own PPE kit out of that. So this is what, not depending on the supplier, you can make your own things on the printer. And yes, if there is any problem with any one of you regarding 3D printing, I have got experts associated with me and I have worked on it. So I can guarantee you that this 3D printing is fabulously going to work out for you. And if any kind of training is needed, that you can connect with me. The training is very, very simple. So you don't have to basically depend on the manufacturer or supplier to create your own products. You can do that with your own capabilities. Now, another innovation is automation itself, which is talking about the automation in manufacturing, storing, and delivery. And all these things, when they are connected, it becomes Industry 4.0. In a nutshell, if we see that, so basically this is about connection, where you are not connected physically, you are connected virtually with the physical systems. And in today's Industry 4.0 factories, you can imagine that everything is being decided virtually, and the manufacturing process is going on without any problem. And the application of this Industry 4.0, again from the Boston Dynamics, is in terms of handling of a warehouse by a robot. So I'm just showing you the clip of that. So this is again the contactless delivery, which has created its application in today's environment where these deliveries are needed. So this is a typical capability of robot in terms of handling a warehouse. Obviously, the payload capacity of each robot is different, and as per the payload capacity, the price of robot goes up. So we need to be careful in that. Okay, so now coming on to the big question, are we ready for that? So what are the issues? The issues are, is it not going to cost something which is new, which is nothing but innovation into something? And is it not going to create the products dearer or costly? Yes, it is. But the answer here is that it is going to be less than the cost of doing without it, and cost of doing without the innovation. And we are paying for that very, very heavily. And you can see every day there is a news that this company is shut down, or there is a trouble with the funding of the company. All these kind of costs are coming into picture because of innovation, which has to be there. Now coming on to second thing, that is training for the new technology. Every company or every industry uh, needs a different kind of supply chain. Let's say if it is perishable good, the supply chain should be swift. It should be efficient enough so that the goods are being supplied on time at the required place with the same quality. So that is something which is to be taken care of at the upstream as well as downstream. Upstream is the manufacturing side, downstream is the distribution side, for your understanding. So there are so many industries like food, automotive, FMCG, agriculture, tourism, e-commerce, transport, health and hospital. All these are associated with some kind of supply chain. And if you are tempering, if you are changing, if you are innovating in these supply chains, it has to be taught to the people who are using that. So that's why the training is needed. There are a lot of rule-based systems to be implemented from manufacturing to advanced delivery systems. So if we are using drones for delivery, obviously there is less regulations as far as our government is concerned because of the different kind of uh, activities which may be unlawful which can happen through the drone. So what they have started doing in USA is that they have started giving the driver's license. Like we take the license for driving our car, they are getting the license for running their own drones, and without them they are not going to allow for that. Government regulations are still to be framed for new normal. So new normal is, let's say, PPE kit or mask, or there are so many things which are new to us and we are getting used to of it. So government is regulating, government is giving the rules for the same. Yes, cost of every product is going to increase with infusion of new technology as the normal. Next is decision-making issues in multi-level supply chain where the price is prime factor. See, if we are doing away with one country or at the one place, then it's okay. But anyway, we have to reframe our supplier, reframe our supply chain in which we have to find our own new supplier, which may be somewhat costlier for us. But considering the situation of this pandemic, we have to design the supply chain building this aspect into it. So that is called as multi-level supply chain, where we don't have dependency on one supplier only. Last mile delivery is still to look upon as it has more manual intervention. So if we see nowadays the e-commerce companies, they have the people who are delivering the things, but now people are suspicious and the public is suspicious. They don't want to get it from the people, the delivery, because it may be containing that virus. So because of that fear, that has to be looked upon to a new innovation, which can be in terms of drones or the some kind of innovation. And last, which is not the least, again, this is something which needs to be understood very, very clearly, that design has to be done in our own way, in our own country for global market, and we are very far behind that. Consider our ancestors. Just think of it. Just have a thinking that our ancestors were so genius that they have made beautiful buildings without requirement of any air conditioner or some kind of power sources. They had everything which was thought with side by side the nature. But what we have started doing, we have started complicating the things. So this is one aspect of it. Our ancestors used to have the knowledge, fundamental knowledge of those medications which used to be there, which used to cure any kind of disease. So healthcare and so many other uh, areas where we can be, where we can take the lead, we need to design on that. And if we are able to design for India, and if we are able to design for our own country, maybe you are from different country, you design it for your own environment, where the temperatures are to be considered, where the humidity has to be considered, where the terrain has to be considered. But if you are able to design the product for your own country, it is most important thing which we can do. So design has to be taught, in my opinion. Design has to be taught right from the beginning, from the class 1 to the end. So now is the new positive, which is negative. So this has been going around from last so many days, that new positive is nothing but the negative. Why it is negative? Because you have to be negative to be with me, and you have to be negative to be safe, and that's why you have to be corona negative to be new positive. Thank you so very much for attending this session. I'm so thankful to you. If there is any question, please write it down so that I can answer it later. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful presentation. I'm sure this is going to be one of the finest ever lectures we have been through during the times of this pandemic. Thank you once again. Thank you so much.